I'm Jason King. As Naomi was talking, I was one of the first people to really dig in on the nonprofit side of the blockchain space. I founded Sean's Outpost, Unsung.org. Together we fed about 267,000 meals to the less fortunate, exclusively using blockchain. In my quest to sort of be on the humanitarian side of the space, I actually founded the Academy. Earlier this year, I was working with some people in the EU towards building a distributed identity system for refugees in Greece. And something that was very important to me. I think that it's something that could really do a whole lot of good. And when we sort of ran into some seed money to do that, I started talking to my friends that were developers in the blockchain space and said, hey guys, I've got this great idea. Let's do a distributed identity system. The EU is going to help us push it in Greece, and we're going to do it for refugees. And they were like, Jason, that's a great idea. But I'm currently working on a project. I've got about 6 projects behind that. But as soon as those projects are done, I'd love to work on your project. It's like, okay, cool. I'll go to the next guy. And so call the next person. Similar thing. Jason, this is a really good idea. I'd love to work on it. But I have a job right now, and I've got 10 jobs in the pipeline. But if I have some time, I'd love to work on it. And so it's the same story over and over again. And then so I stopped calling developer friends of mine. I started calling CEOs, and I was like, hey, are you guys hiring for engineers? And I couldn't get the word engineer out of my mouth. I would say, hey, are you hiring for engineers? Hey, do you know somebody? Do you know somebody? I'll hire them. I'll hire their whole team. I'll hire all of them. And then, so I was like, wow, how bad is this problem? So this is it. Demand for blockchain developers far exceeds supply. So last year, as an ecosystem, we raised about $500 million. And about half of that was from ICOs. So far this year, and these numbers are already outdated, but so far this year, we've raised about $2.5 billion, of which $2.1 billion of it is from ICOs. Now, take that and look at these numbers here. We surveyed 200 Fortune 500 executives, and 188 of them have plans to implement blockchain technology. But the problem with that is this little sliver down here, is of those 188, only 12 of them thought that they could identify the talent to actually build that out. So just think about that. And this is the problem. Currently, on Earth, for every 1 qualified blockchain developer, there are 14 available jobs. So couple that with the fact that over the next 7 years, as an industry, we're slated to grow 16 times. So we're currently at a 14x deficit, and we want to grow 16x from where we already are. Seems like we're running into a small problem. So blockchain ecosystem has been slow to train new developers, and for good reason. Blockchain's a very nascent technology. We've only been around for a couple of years. Blockchain tech moves too quickly. So it's to be integrated into traditional sorts of curriculum. Blockchain devs are paid a lot more to be blockchain devs than to teach. And this is really the thing, is that we've been moving at such a breakneck pace that people haven't been slowing down to document what they're doing. They're in production. So they haven't been stopping to train the next generation of developers. And there's a lack of industry standards for education and certification. So what's the solution? So once we identified this problem, we started talking to our friends. And we found out this was sort of the impending crisis that nobody wanted to talk about. Everybody was aware of it, but they were actually sort of afraid that if they mentioned it out loud, that they would make the situation worse. So we started talking to a lot of my friends, and I was fortunate to be introduced to a man named John Souza. And John founded Kingsland University in Atlanta, Georgia. And he's good friends with a lot of people in the blockchain space. And over several meetings, over several pleading phone calls, what we did is we convinced John to allow us to stand up the Academy School of Blockchain at Kingsland University in Atlanta, Georgia. And what this is the first fully US accredited school for blockchain development. What we were doing with our first product is we were creating immersive 6-week boot camps where we actually take an existing software developer and we train them up on blockchain best practices. So they go in as a competent software developer and they come out as a competent blockchain developer. In addition to that, the curriculum that we're using is not something that we're just shooting from the hip from. We're going directly to the people that are creating these blockchain technologies and working directly with them to create the courses that we're doing. People like Mr. Craig Sellers, who's in the back of the room right now, who founded Omni, Tether, and Atomic, Steve Dack from CryptoKit and Ethereum, Dan Larimer, who founded EOS, BitShares, Steemit. A lot of people don't realize this, but 2/3 of all blockchain transactions in the world actually run over Dan's technology. And we're working closely with Dan to create curriculum to teach existing developers. And also Mr. Gabe Kerman, who is one of the founders of RSK Labs. In addition to our in-person classrooms, we'll also be doing cutting-edge online technology, where you'll be able to train anywhere in the world to learn blockchain. And we'll also be doing executive training. So for your Deloittes and KPMGs of the world that don't actually need to know how to develop, but really need to understand this technology in a way where they're competent to speak about it, we'll be doing accredited executive education classes as well. We are accredited from the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. In the United States, there's 7 accrediting bodies, and they're all regionals. This is the Southeast one. And what that does is that gives us access to Title IV and Title IX funding. In the United States, that's the free financial aid for student assistance, which is hundreds of billions of dollars in educational assistance that are now available for the first time ever for people to be used to learn the blockchain, and also all of our Veterans Administration assistance, which is Title IX. Also, something that's very interesting that we can do at Academy is that we have a SCORM-compliant learning management system. And what that is it's an API for online digital learning. So once we create a class, we can actually syndicate that class out to other accredited universities. So if you have a local university and you would like for them to be teaching blockchain-related stuff, they don't have to go out and do the research themselves. They don't have to hire a blockchain expert. They can literally just plug into the SCORM system and find our classes and then put them in their course book. Another important thing that we'll be doing is career placement services. In 2018, we're going to run 1,600 graduates through our immersive programs at Kingsland. We have requests for over 5,700 of our graduates already. So what this means is we have a very rich environment to tap our grads and place them directly in meaningful jobs within the industry. And then the other side of that is working directly with the companies to make sure that what we're teaching is in line with the information that they need being taught to grads that they're going to hire. Our team is really great. These are literally some of the best people in the industry. The person who led curriculum development is Jinglin Wang from NASDAQ. She was the executive director of Blockchain Education Network, and she was a product manager for NASDAQ. Mo Levin from Keynote, obviously John Souza, the founder of Kingsland University. Roger Royce from Royce Law. Michael Quinn is a former SEC special prosecutor, is heading up our legal. And Alex Lightman from Millennium Energy is one of the top tech futurists in the world, and myself in the corner. Now, why would we need an SEC special prosecutor on our legal staff? Because later on this year, we'll be opening up for a token sale. We'll be launching the Academy token, and the Academy token will be able to be used directly to pay for tuition, and it'll be able to be used for career service, human resource placement fees. And then something is a little interesting about our mechanic, probably something that you've never seen before. Every time the Academy takes in a token for payment for tuition or fees, we actually burn 70% of the token. Because to us, the token is essentially prepaid tuition. So it's like a gift card. When we take it in, we don't want to reuse it again. So we burn 70% of it. Then 15% of it gets put into a dedicated scholarship fund, and 15% of it gets put into a dedicated community management fund. And what happens to those resources is that anyone that holds 3,000 Academy tokens can turn on what's called an advisory node, where you actually get to create a proposal and vote on what our elective curriculum should be. So if you run a company like EOS or BitShares or Monero, and you want to make sure that we're teaching something specific to your technologies at the Academy School of Blockchain, where you can stand up an advisory node and actually create that proposal, have it voted on, and if it's voted on, there's already resources set aside for the creation of that material. And that's what we're doing at Academy School of Blockchain. I'm going to be around all week here, so if you have any questions, if you'd like to partner with us, if you'd like to talk about your human resource needs, or if you know a really brilliant coder who really should become a really brilliant blockchain developer, please hit me up. I'm Jason King. Thank you very much.